Expensive things owned by Drake.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have like an emotion. I don't know what's wrong.
Do you want to win any of these items on your screen? If so, be sure to watch the whole video, leave a like, and comment the hidden message. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. What is there to say about the man known as Drake? Well, he's a living legend of the rap world with a net worth of over $150 million. He for sure has spent a lot of money on really wild things that you don't want to miss out on. So be sure to like the video and comment the keyword to enter the giveaway. Number 7. $2 million shoes.
Instagram of all gold OVO Air Jordans. Many weren't shocked, but the price had fans in awe.
What's that you saying? How is it possible that there's a pair of shoes out there that cost $2 million? Well, simple. It's about how they were made and what they're made of. First and foremost, it should be noted that these are Air Jordans, which make them expensive by default because they're Air Jordans, the most popular shoe brand in the world. But more than that though, these pairs of Air Jordans are literally made out of solid gold. Oh yeah, he did that. Now, you should be probably wondering how solid gold shoes equal $2 million. Well, here's how it breaks down.
It's on his IG are real. Then Drake dropped about $1.9 million based on the current gold value.
Based on the weight measurements and comparing them to 2016 gold prices as when the shoes were made, that alone made the amount around $1.9 million, which alone is pretty impressive. But you're forgetting something. Gold wasn't just made into the shoes, it had to be sculpted into the perfect Air Jordan shape that you're seeing right now. Matthew Senna is the one who sculpted the shoes, and you can see all the details. And you know that he didn't skimp out on anything. Quality is most definitely a factor here when trying to base a price on something, and the replication of the Air Jordan's likeliness is uncanny here. But what might be the most ironic part about these shoes is that Drake made sure to use the hashtag "these are not to wear" when displaying them on Instagram. That's right, Drake literally made a pair of shoes that he cannot wear. Well, because he can. And let's be honest, if you could show up the world this way, wouldn't you? Plus, if you ever sold them, he could add Drake value to them and probably get $2.5 to $3 million back, should he really want to. Number 6. Handbags for his future wife.
So I have a fairly vast collection of Hermes to offer somebody at some point in life.
Drake is many things, but one thing that stands above all the rest is that he's a man of dignity and class. Well, most times. Everyone's got their own faults, but let's not harp on this, okay? Anyway, Drake is apparently a romantic, as this is gonna prove. He's already stocking up purses for his future wife just to make sure that when they meet, she won't have to spend a dime on them. Don't believe me? Well, he confessed during an interview with a Hollywood Reporter, noting, "There's very few things in this world, tangible things anyway, that hold their value and sort of appreciation as years go on. So it was one of the things I started collecting as well for the woman I end up with one day. So I have a fairly vast collection of Hermes to offer somebody at some point in life." By Hermes, he means Hermes Birkin. It's a very extravagant and very expensive handbag line. In fact, the reason that people are getting them is because they can only be afforded by those who have money.
And Epsom leather, what's highly desirable is the porosus crocodile. Each skin, as you know, is different.
The minimum price on one of these handbags is $11,000, and they can go as high as $300,000. And notice, in his section, he says he's got a collection of these items saved up for his future wife, which could well and truly mean that he spent millions, and I mean millions of dollars on a purse collection, just so that he can hope that his future wife will be happy with them once she sees them. Now sure, we don't know exactly who his potential future wife is going to be, but that's not the point here. The point is, he's making an effort to be the man that he needs to be for his future wife, whoever she may be. And that means having the class and style to get the things that she will likely want before she even asks for it. So who wouldn't want a husband like that? Number 5. Hidden Hills Mansion. Now, when you're a celebrity, having a mansion is almost a prerequisite for living a good life. And after all, you need to entertain your guests, right? Anyway, over the course of his career, Drake has had many mansions that he's enjoyed. He had one in Miami for a while, but then he decided to give it up and go to a place called the Hidden Hills. It's in California, located outside of Los Angeles. But what sets it apart is that he calls it his bachelor pad, which I'm not sure he can say that anymore since he's got a girlfriend, but hey, that's more details later. But what might be the most important thing about his house is that he's within a gated community. This is important for many reasons, not the least of which is because the gated community ensures his privacy. You might think that celebrities enjoy being in the spotlight all the time as it's their job to an extent, but in truth, it's never that simple. So many celebrities just try and have a fun regular life or just go out in town with their friends just to live up life. And then they're hounded by paparazzi and other media. You can really weigh on a person who just wants to be by themselves. For fellow rapper Eminem, he's one such guy who prefers to live in a gated community, not just for himself, but for his daughter too. Now back to the mansion. He has 6 bedrooms for himself and for his guests to relax in. And when he needs to take them around town, as it's next to Los Angeles, he has an army of cars waiting for them. Number 4. The Toronto Raptors.
An ambassador for the Raptors.
I want you to make some noise for the #1 team in the East, the greatest team in the land.
Alright, yes, it's literally on another level. Drake does not own the Toronto Raptors, but that doesn't mean he's not part of the organization. He holds the title of Global Ambassador, a literal first of its kind for the NBA. Now, unlike Jay-Z, Drake doesn't own any stake in the team despite his official affiliation with them. However, he does play a role for them, and they often do things like Drake Night at shows and hand out shirts for fans, and at one time, Drake even gave away a pair of his Air Jordans, which someone then sold for $100,000. I'm not sure you can blame them, you know, they had proof that they were Drake's and such, so here you go. Moving on, as I noted before, it's a very rare kind of partnership for the NBA, but it's honestly because of Drake not just being from Toronto, but him building up Toronto as much as he can, which I'll get to later. He loves giving back to his own community and helping out people who are struggling. He's very much a philanthropist, and that's helped him get a lot of goodwill in the community. The Raptors saw this and gave him the Global Ambassador title. Technically, his role is undefined, but it's more than likely he's a visual mascot of sorts that'll bring a lot more attention to the team. Plus, he gets really great seats at the game and all kinds of other perks. So not only is he building himself up in his case, but he's also building up his own brand, which in the music industry is everything. Plus, the NBA gets to stay a little bit more modern by teaming up with one of the biggest musical stars in the world, and one in their hometown, which builds up their own brand with their hometown fans. It's very much a win-win situation. But just as important in all of this is what recently happened in the NBA. Not only did the Toronto Raptors get into the NBA Finals for the first time, but they also beat the Golden State Warriors, who were champs for 3 out of the past 4 years, and Drake was there for every home game to support them. In fact, he was so involved with the home games in terms of cheering them on, pumping them up, talking with the players, and even giving a shoulder massage to the coach, and that some people honestly declared that there was a Drake effect going on. And there were discussions about how to counter the Drake effect. And then when they won, you could bet that Drake bought a bunch of expensive memorabilia to help commemorate his team winning the big title for the first time. You could probably even bet that he made it part of his house, and more of that later too, a shrine to the NBA final success of the Raptors. Plus, there's no doubt that his role is secure in the future, even if they don't win another title because of how much he helped win the first one. And that's something money can't buy. Number 3, parties. This may seem like an odd entry, but think about celebrities as a whole. When they're not doing their work, what are they doing? They're typically going out and doing lavish things like trips or having parties with their friends. Drake most definitely knows how to party. Let's start with the basics. He has fans and friends that he likes to hang out with, so if he wanted to throw a party, he would go all out to make sure that they had a great time. I'm talking DJs, great beverages, amazing food, games, live performances if he wanted. The sky's the limit when it comes to these kind of things. And even if he's not throwing his own party, which is his right obviously, that doesn't mean he can't go and indulge with someone else at their party. Drake honestly has a bit of a reputation when he goes to nightclubs and crashing parties and then showing everyone up in a big way. One such occasion was when he was in Oklahoma City in 2012. After doing a show, he went and found a nightclub to go hang out with his entourage. After living it up, the police were actually called in and they forced the club to shut down. Not very cool, but very Drake. Reportedly, the real reason for the shutdown wasn't the loudness or even the number of people there. It was that there were some illegal substances being reported, and Drake was apparently one of the people partaking in that. And it just goes to show you, when you have the money to live it up, you'll definitely find the ways to live it up. Number 2, Toronto.
He's our Jack Nicholson. You can go all over the world and they'll know who Drake is.
This is another case of him not literally or technically owning something, yet when you think about it, Drake really does own Toronto. So much so that not only does he still live in the place of his birth, but he makes sure that he can help it grow and evolve whenever he can. For example, he's had numerous concerts there, helping the brand of the city grow, and even owning businesses of various kinds. And while you can't put a price on what he's doing and has done, it's hard to deny that he's had a big monetary impact on Toronto. So much so that you could technically say that he owns a city in a way, even if only in a small part. And it's not just his deeds that help Toronto, he sings about his home. Drake is so passionate about Toronto that he tries to reference the city where he grew up all the time, even if it's only in backhand references that people who know him would get. In fact, he's so good about traveling with Toronto airports and planes that one company actually named a plane after him. Yep, Air Drake is a real thing. Not that he needed it per se, but he's got his own private jet. Anyway, he sings so much about Toronto that he actually got help to create a lot of nicknames for the city, including the Six, which is a reference to the regions of the city. And now the world at large pretty much refers to Toronto that way. So who can you thank for all that marketing? Drake. Moving on to business ventures, Drake owns a restaurant in the city called Frings. And not to downplay the competition, he brought the one and only Rihanna to Real Jerk Restaurant to do a music video together. You see, he's not only just making business, he's making other businesses famous. So he's not being greedy, he's actually being rather generous with how he treats his competition. Then of course he brings numerous concerts to the area and isn't afraid to surprise people by just popping up and bringing some more attention to something. Even did a surprise appearance before a politician and made a city councilor very popular. And that's power right there. But what about the youth of Toronto, you might ask? Well, Well, it's simple. He has the OVO brand, where he actually helps younger singers and artists get off the streets into the studio. Even has a radio station that blasts out their beats so they can get their attention. This means that Drake is truly helping the next generation grow and evolve if they feel about Toronto the same way that Drake does. He'll bring more life to the city as well, and that again helps the city. Plus, it saves them from having to go through the hard lives that many go through on the way to the top of the music industry. Now again, you can't exactly put a value on this, and it's obvious Drake doesn't own the city, but when it comes to the impact of the city, you could argue that there are very, very few people in this world who have more impact on Toronto than Drake. He's friends with just about every major player there, helps gentrify the city when he can, and basically is the city's mascot. How could he even top that? Number 1. A fleet of cars. Who doesn't want a new car? No, really, who doesn't? It may seem simple, but everyone wants a brand new car. The feeling of having something fresh and not pre-owned is a special kind of feeling. And when you can afford it, you can really get a nice car. For Drake, it's not really that he just wanted a nice car, it's that he wanted a lot of nice cars. Very expensive cars, as a matter of fact. Needless to say, he got his wish. And not only did he get his wish, but he also got a fleet of cars that he can call his own, such as a Bugatti Veyron, which costs $1.5 million. Other cars that he owns include a $28,000 Acura TSX, a $200,000 Bentley, a $300,000 Bentley Super Sports, and a $400,000 Rolls-Royce Phantom. But in truth, he likely has a lot more rolling around, which can be seen in many of his music videos. True, just because he shows them doesn't mean that he owns them, but with $150 million at his disposal, it's very reasonable to think that even if he doesn't, he could very soon. The only real question here is that what kind of car is he going to buy next? I guess it really just depends on what impulses that he has. And so there you have it. Look at the lifestyle of Drake and the most expensive things that he owns. So what do you think of these items that Drake owns? Which of these items are you the most jealous of in terms of him having? And what things do you think Drake should buy next? Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe and I'll see you next time on King Trending. A simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's really your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. Go for it.